Hey, good morning, everybody. This is the professor for Day Trading for Success. We're about to have a bit of a recap, a bit of going over in a nightmare situation that cost traders tens of thousands of dollars. It was really a nationwide or maybe beyond shutdown of the Thinkorswim platform on the mobile app and the desktop. So many people that were scalpers and going in and out of trades quickly were affected not only by a type of malfunctioning while the platform was still up, but then there was malfunctioning going on and the platform then got shut down and you couldn't even get out of a position that you might have been malfunctioning in the first place, not to mention the fact that maybe you just wanted to get out of the position while the platform was shut down and you couldn't go to the phone or back on Thinkorswim. Now, there's a whole bunch of arguments that they're going to put out about this. I have filed a trade dispute. I spent a lot of time on the phone yesterday. There are people here that lost tens of thousands of dollars that trade in large share size. There's a big mess going on, a big fight going on, and that really they should be responsible. That's my opinion. So I took it very seriously because my trades went bad because of it, and I went back to figure it out. So stick around. We're going to really get into the details.
Welcome to Day Trading for Success, where the professor, a former math teacher turned full-time trader and coder, guides beginners on how to trade for a living using proven strategies, breakthrough indicators, and lessons from essential trading books. The professor isn't a licensed financial advisor. Always consult a pro before diving into any strategies or demos you see here. Start smart, practice in a simulator, stick to a solid day trading plan, and don't forget to log every trade. Your profits will start with preparation. Thank you for allowing us to share in your journey. Please remember to subscribe, comment, give a thumbs up, and click that notification bell so you can be the first to receive more of our great content.
So welcome back. I guess what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to play the footage from yesterday's live stream because I didn't even know myself how bad it was. I was just thinking that I had made a partially bad decision. Now, the way I trade on my live streams that I have on every morning, and that you're free to come to it, Day Trading for Success, 8143 is how you get to the channel. If you put on all alerts, you'll get an alert if you're subscribing to the channel, and you can hear me come on. Usually I'll pop on between 8:30 or 9 East Coast time, and the New York Stock Exchange is where I'm trading on the East Coast of the United States. And you'll see me start to set up, start to talk about the day, start to do that, and then 9:30 we go right into scalping. I wanted to clarify a bit about how I scalp. People rightfully so say, you're always shorting when the stock's going up. What I'm doing, that's how I make money. A lot of the time is I short even when the stock's going straight up. And I wanted to clarify that it's a retracement that I'm catching, because it doesn't just nonstop go up. It goes up some, percentage of the price, then it goes down, goes up, then it goes down, then it goes more up than down, more up than down, but it still goes down. So you can usually catch that scalp. I'm of the mind that it won't continue to go up forever. So I'm taking my moves on the retracement. So now, you could argue that you just go long all the time, of course, and it might work for you. Generally, stocks don't move that way. Large caps typically retrace. Typically, nothing's always. So I learned over the years that I did much better by catching the retracements. Now, it can do the same thing going up. If the stock's going straight down, then you get the retracements on the buys. I would start buying. So it's just the way that I scalp. So it's different than other people might just ride it, because I find that it's more accurate. So I wanted to make sure I clarified that. Another thing that I wanted to clarify, it's not the only way I trade. It's just a type of trading, right? I wanted to clarify that also that I will only go in a partial of my position on every trade, fully intending to double that position and then double it again, and even maybe double it again and again. So if it goes against me and I feel like I can't. It's just going up more. Like say I'm shorting and it's just going up more than it's retracing, and I got to get out. It's not acting normal because there's higher highs constantly without giving me the movement in between. Then I'll just I'll suddenly sell, so that I'm very, very close to my position price wise, and then just get out, hoping for a quick dip, and then just get out. Or I move it into a swing trade and I look for it as it's getting high. If it starts to turn around, like in yesterday's case, NVIDIA did turn around, I would have gone from my 400 shares, which you're about to see happen here, to 800, 1600, maybe even 3200. And if you do the math, you can see that I think at 1600, I would have made a good deal of money had I just averaged in my full position. So it's something I'm lucky to be able to do, but any trader can do it. They just trade with 5 shares or 10 shares and do the same type of strategy. But you have to figure out your own way. You might not want to do it that way. But let's get right into what happened here. But I wanted to clarify that. I got a lot of emails from a lot of people that are on my live stream saying they had the same difficulty. Thank you for the emails backing it up. We are trading in a studio here, of course, with a lot of traders, and everybody. There was only a couple people that were not on Thinkorswim. They were on Lightspeed, but everybody had the exact same problem. Everybody was wicked upset, and I just didn't understand. In the beginning, I thought it was just, there's something with my latency coming in from the street to the studio, or maybe my computer's acting up, or maybe I didn't know. So as I went back, excuse me, and Charlie put together images to send in to make a trade dispute, it got to be excuse me. So it became clear that the problem was Thinkorswim and Charles Schwab. It wasn't from latency coming in from the street to the studio. It wasn't from any of my computer error. It wasn't from, just to reiterate all that, it was a Charles Schwab Thinkorswim nationwide platform malfunction, then shut down. And it definitely affected how my trade went down. And I stayed in the trade, which you'll see here, because I didn't realize how bad it was, that it wasn't my fault. So I was kind of like stuck in this position thinking like, well, it's going to retrace. I kind of had no choice. You could look at it that way. Like I could have instantly averaged in a whole bunch right then, but I thought, well, I'm thinking to myself, it's probably going down. But the reality was my first trade I took would have made me profitable, and I would have reassessed and got in the trade differently. It's just as simple as that. I wouldn't have been in this position. So let's take a look, and you can see. So I'm about to take my first trade here, which most of you watched, and I'm going to short off that level and look for a retracement. So now I could have taken a quick profit here. What I did is I pressed sell to average down. It did not pick it up. Now, guys, this is important to note. That's a market order. That should be instantly picked up. No trouble picking that up. Okay, so malfunctions already starting. 200 shares market order on NVIDIA. Come on, guys. It's split second that gets picked up. That's the whole thing, that the market maker instantly fills you. You might get some slippage, but you get filled no matter what. But you're not even going to get slippage on something like this. But it didn't pick it up. Malfunction number 1. That's a big deal right there, that didn't pick me up, because it would have changed my price point considerably. So, I would have been up to probably... when I first pressed that, I don't know. Well, I would have been more to like 164, 30, 31, somewhere in there. And I would have had some opportunities after this. I'm like, why didn't that pick me up? Now, here, as it kept going up, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm happy it didn't pick me up, because I want to average in at a much higher price here, and then I have a way better chance of retracement, right? That's logical, right? So I'm thinking I'm not that worried. I'm looking at that fib level going, maybe I'll think about getting in there, but I kind of like this price action to slow down. I need to get it, higher. So I'm kind of in a quandary here. I never got the trade, never got the option to get out when I first picked up that trade. Would I have gotten out? I don't know. I'm not 100% sure what I would have done. The amount's pretty low for me there, under $100. I'm thinking there's a lot of opportunities. This big move happened, and boom, look what happened here. So let's read this. We have failed to deliver your order. Cancel order. This thing that says no to the Thinkorswim system electronically because of some internet or server problem. So they mean on their end, right? Please contact the trade desk to confirm the status of this order. So I'm in the middle of trading. This message comes up. They want me to contact the trade desk while I'm in a live order and leave this message up. Is that what they're saying? No, they're not saying this because they didn't even know this was going to happen. But I'm just like, I'm making an argument for them if they say, hey, you should have instantly contacted the trade desk and we could have got you out of this situation, right? That's what they would have said. But if any of you called the trade desk yesterday, like I did, you were on hold for 30 minutes. I mean, you couldn't get through because everybody was having problems. But naturally, in a scalping situation, watching this price go against me, I'm getting a little more nervous right now. You remember, I entered an order to get in way down here to double down, way down here, okay? Now the price action's way up here. So if I'm going to want to add to my share position short, I'm going to want to add way up here because then it pulls my price way up closer to the price action, so I have a chance to get out. And the price wouldn't have changed much here, but it would have given me an opportunity to get out. So what do you do when this message like this comes up? How do you handle this, right? Well, you say, okay, I'll do that. But right now, get out of my way, right? But instead, what this message was really saying is, without really saying it, is the order that I placed way back there never delivered, and I should contact them. So the second I press OK, what does it do? It delivers that order at that much lower price. Watch this P&L, triple almost in a split second. Watch what happens. Okay, guys, what do you want me to do? Okay, I'll get out of my way. Boom. Look at that. Because the price action is way up here, but then it took my averaging up from way down here. Who in the world would ever do that? Hey, can you give me a worse price to get in? So here's the major problem right here. This trade is over. This trade is nullified. That is a malfunction on theirs. So now I'm in this situation where I'm feeling, stuck. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm not even really understanding. I'm definitely feeling like I made an error there and the price moved really fast. I'm definitely like, well, God, what did I do? I'm definitely thinking it's my fault. I'm falling on my sword going, well, I'm live streaming, guys, this stuff, I'm making some mistakes here. I hope you're not fouling me. I don't remember exactly what I was saying, but I wasn't feeling good about it. And now if you're used to this situation when you've gone beyond what you want to do, I have a couple of options here. I play it out and I swing trade for the rest of the day, hoping for a retracement. I play it out. I add a whole bunch to my position as it continues to go up, and I swing trade, or I just take a loss, okay? In my case, since I know I have the opportunity to add share size to a ridiculous amount, which may or may not be smart. You can make your own arguments about that. When you add to your share size, this number doesn't really change for the worse unless you just let it change for the worse over time. So you have a brief period of time to go. Is that going to go to 550 or is that going to go to 150? Because it's moving back and forth on a much higher share size. So if that went to 150 right after I did it, I would just probably get out. I might wait a second longer, which is dangerous. But the idea is when you add to the share size, you're looking for a little bit, in a situation like this where you're already in trouble, you're looking for a way out as quickly as you can. So you add and you get out. But normally when I would add, I would be waiting for it to be turning back around and giving me some indication that it's going the other way. That's the best time to add, because you're of a less risk that it's going further against your. And if you add enough and it's already starting to go down, you don't need it to go down much. You just need it to go down like 3 cents, and you're out. You can be out of the position because you're so close to your position. You multiply that by, you get this up to like 1,600 or 3,200, and then you're right near your price point, of what it is here, very close. So it's very little pennies to get you out green. And that's just the facts of the matter, guys, whether you can afford to do that or not. That's how traders that have the money in their account often will bail out. Call it stupid, call it genius. There's all kinds of points of view on it. I have a specific idea of what I'm going to do in a situation. Most likely, I'm going to swing trade it if it gets worse and worse, which it does do. But let's continue to see what I think that was actually the end of the malfunction, other than to just sit here and sweat. Now, I have people like whispering me and passing notes within the next few minutes here that everybody is having trouble. But right in here, as it's going up, within a minute or two, the entire platform shuts down. And you'll see my screen go to, I'll show you in a second here. So you'll see from my stream, if you watch the live stream, it was shortly around this time I was actually getting into a better position, right? It was getting a little bit better. See the movement down. I definitely was contemplating adding as it was going down right in here, because if I had added like right in here, I could have got out at that point. But there was a good chance that this was going to retrace the way it should have in the beginning, like it's not going to just go straight up. So, after I was in the position that I never would have been in, I decided to play it out. And I actually switched over to Hood, and I talked to you guys about I'm gonna run this as a swing, and then I set a profit, and I'm going to run it as a swing trade. I did not anticipate it would go as far against me as it did, but I will show you that it doesn't matter. I would have been able to get out of the trade, and we'll look at this in just a minute on a chart, so I can show you how I would have traded. Who knows, right? I could say that, but it's just normally how I get out. I come back later in the day because I'll switch to the RV strategy, and then I'll assess the situation, and then I'll try to make I don't want to hold it into the end of day, so I'll make a best case situation that I can do, and usually that means adding to the shares and watching intently for a few minutes to see, is this, I just got to get out, and take a hit, $1,000, whatever it might be. I got to get out, right? And I played it the wrong way. But normally the stock retraces is exactly what NVIDIA did, and it definitely would have, gave me opportunities to get out, and I will show you that in a minute. But here I switched to Hood, and that's actually when the platform shut down, which is only a few minutes into the day here. But I was already like, okay. Actually, it was a comment from what somebody else said. If you get stuck in a trade and you're still trading live and trying to show people the strategy of scalping, why don't you switch stocks? Because you're going to swing it anyway. You don't have to sit there and watch it. Duh, that's a great idea. So that's what I did. I'm used to my crowd on Zoom, but I realized that, yeah, that's a really good idea. So I took his advice, and that's what I did. So just a few minutes more into the market now. We're at roughly 9:43, 13 minutes into the market here, right? Yeah, there's the clock up there, 9:43. Okay, you can see I'm looking at Hood, and it's going straight down, and I'm thinking, you know what, maybe I will play this down for a total retracement. Now, there's a lot of times I would buy right here. I have to tell you, I'm a little off my game because of what happened over there, but, those kind of things don't usually affect me that much, but I was frustrated because I thought that it wasn't a platform malfunction. I thought it was my fault. So I was disgusted with myself at this point. So let's see what happens here on Hood. So I think this is I'm about to get into a position here. Maybe I started the video. I've got a lot of stuff to show you guys, so stick around about the trade complaint and how you can file one yourself. And if you did bad, you should definitely do it, because really the more people that do it, the better chance that we'll all get the credit we deserve if it really happened to you. I hope you record. I mean, I record now. So there you go. So this is the first. I switched stocks because I wasn't liking Hood. I didn't go in. All right. So I went up to the scanner, which is in the screen above me. I just clicked it and I switched over here. All right. And this is what happened right when I switched. It's like, oh, what's going on? Why is it not? That shouldn't be happening. You know, it wouldn't fill in. So I was getting more frustrated here, not realizing that there were malfunctions all over the platform. Everybody was having them. Different things were happening to different people, and it was just a nightmare for trying to scalp and day trade in the moment on 10-second trades. So now I switched to Tesla. You can see it switch up there. That's not happening. Back to NVIDIA. I looked at, oh my God, I'm $500 down, and now the charts aren't even working. What in the world is going on here? You know, so I'm thinking, I need to restart my computer, right? I need to restart because this must be a malfunction on my end, right? So I better restart this computer. So that's what I'm about to do. And because I'm going to be putting in my password, I blank out the screen and I don't want you guys to see. So that's what happens, right? So then I blank out, and that's that. Now, I do come back and trade Hood. Let me get up here, and I do Hood here. I've just gotten back on. It's been a few minutes, and I'm trying to set up my platform here to trade Hood here. So I've got things rolling to about to take a trade on Hood, and a lot of you saw this. Meanwhile, just cross my fingers that NVIDIA maybe is going to turn around, or having to come back to add to it if the swing trade isn't going well. So I'm just moving on now. So now on this, I would go short again. It's the same kind of thing when it gets up here, a double top here. That's a evening star, which shows a reversal, which it did. I'm going to play off that maybe it's going to do that same kind of reversal again. And it's been moved up quite a way, so we need a retracement here. So that's a logical move, what I did here, to look for a retracement. And then I got into the trade. And I was on the wrong account because I couldn't short. I got into the same, because I restarted my computer. I'm like, oh, I'm on my IRA. It won't let me short. So now I'm in, and as it goes straight up, I'm like, not again, guys, please. I can't get them right today. But I have to tell you, feeling way better about this trade, even though it's going against me at first. Feeling way better about it, and I'm trying to think about what to do here. What's my plan? I'm gonna average in for sure from 25% of my position. It's a less expensive stock. There wasn't really good news on it. It was actually bad news is what it should have been. But, you know, the market's so odd about these kind of things. You never know. Bad news sometimes makes a stock go up for a period of time before they catch their senses. And it was really more like no news, but it was, if anything, you'd read it bad news. So this trade goes against me also. So I've let this run for a while. This has been as high as, I think, $400 down. It's swinging back down again, and I'm running out of time. I have to go trade with a different strategy with a whole other group of people. So I'm having to make a decision, and I don't like to lose, as you know. It's not the smartest way to approach things, but I know that I can take this to 800, 1600, 3200 throughout the day if I need to try to average in to make my price better here. So, and the $100 mark is pretty well respected, so I'm thinking it could break off that a bunch of times. So I decide to trade this also as a swing, and I'm actually kind of depressed about my showing for everybody. Like, man, you hope you're not following me because I'm not showing you anything. So, you know, I do take that very seriously, knowing that I probably can recover. And still, at this point, I did not know that it was happening to everybody. I kind of knew that the platform, people had told me the platform had malfunction, but I didn't understand that the NVIDIA trade early on when it didn't pick me up, then picked me and double picked me up. It happened all so fast. I thought I just missaw something. So I did not know yet that I had a really solid trade dispute complaint that I could file, because it's hard to file a complaint if it's just a platform shutdown, right? They'll tell you, oh, you should have gone to Charles Schwab and got out of the position. In the case of mine not picking up the market order, what they have done sometimes, and I've seen it happen right in front of my face, is they will literally correct the position as I'm trading on Thinkorswim, right? So I would have assumed if I saw that happen that they didn't pick up the order, then they put the order in at the original price after it had moved, that they would have self-corrected that and showed me my real position where it should have been. But they never did that. And it just kept going up to, I think it was $1,000. So hopefully you're following me. So what I did here is on this one is I ended up taking a swing trade as well. Now I'm going to talk to you about the outcome of what happened by the end of the day, at the end of the day. And then I'm going to show you how I filed a complaint with Charles Schwab. So here's where we're at the end of the day. Okay, 193 plus. Now, this does not have any of the NVIDIA trades right here, which are not, they're kind of locked because I'm in dispute. It does have the hood trade. So you remember where my position was in hood and what happened here. So anyway, so we're still doing good here for the month, over $1,000. So we're on track to make over 2,000 or above the way we're trading. But if they don't give me back the money, I have $1,000 red to be added to this. So we'll look into that in a minute. But I will be very upset, and I will not stop fighting if that's what they do, because I feel I have a very strong case. But we'll go over that in a minute. That doesn't mean I'll win against a somebody who manages $7 trillion of money. I'm a little tiny flea on top of a flea on top of a flea. But what's right is right, and they messed up, and if you can prove it, they should stand by it. So I'm really hoping they do. They usually take care, I don't want to act like I'm special, because I'm not. I'm a flea on top of a flea on top of a flea. But they have usually taken care of me, which I assume they take care of everybody, if you articulate and show the evidence that they usually take care of it. I mean, this goes way back to Street Smart Edge, where I filed. They had banned me for life because of the way I traded, and I filed a trade dispute and got that reversed and had the programmer on as a witness and everything. They could see the keystrokes. So I've been around and been through this. I don't get any special treatment. I'm just a flea on top of a flea on top of a flea, so to speak. But I just wanted to let you know. So let's look at hood and what happened, because I took it to a swing, right? So here's hood for the day. And as you know, I was in this area trading, right? And I did not get out here either. I didn't see this happen because I was trading elsewhere. But I did go up to 800 shares, I think, in this area, somewhere in here. So my position, which was down here, moved way up into this. This is where my price point was, right? So on this next dip, I actually saw it, and I got out right here. Had I waited, it would have been a lot of money for 800 shares. But I just saw it go green from like 400 down or something, and went like, hey, 100 down. And actually, before I could hit the button, I was a 250 profit for a second. I said, just get out. I don't know what this crazy stock's going to do. I wasn't intending to swing it, and I got out. Okay, so that's what happened with hood, and that's why, again, this is what should happen, which you should feel fairly comfortable doing as it retracing through the day. But it just depends on whether you can handle it, because what if it didn't? What if it didn't retrace? What if it just went up to 110 or something, and you're like, oh my God, man, I just blew my account. So, you got to, it's one of the reasons I like to trade large cap, is that you can kind of depend on it to do this, but maybe, not always. So this is NVIDIA and how it ended the day. Now my position was at 164.25, 200 shares. So I was way down here and there, right in this area, right? So it went way out of my position to the tune of well, actually no, I think I'm looking at the wrong image here. Let me see. I had already, well, it moved me up some because of that incorrect averaging down. So let me see. So then I was at 164.21. Yeah, I was actually in a worse position. I didn't even pick up on that because of the way it treated my adding to the positions. That was just terrible. I'm not even sure how that's possible, but I was at 164.21 finally. But anyway, let's just say that's my position legitly, and I messed up, right? 164.21. So you watch this, I'm on a swing trade, so I'm not even looking back at this until this. I might look back after I'm done trading. So somewhere in here, I'm seeing it retrace. I'm going to average up. No question, I'm going to 800 shares in this area as it's going down. And as it continues to go down, I might even go to 1,600 shares. And that's going to bring me way up into this area. You can do the math yourself, but my price point would be up into 165. It would at least be well over $1 up. And if I was lucky, I might have caught it on the peak as it started to reverse, but I was actually, I was still trading right then, so I probably wouldn't have done that. But on another stock. So most likely I would have got into this area here. I'm just saying, like, if it happened this way, right? So, but what really happened is, I got on the phone with them somewhere in here when I realized what really they did to me. And the person on the phone, I'm just going to bring you over the facts. Let me go back here to the correct image. So this is what I gave them. Now you can, when you file a complaint with them, you go to your messages board here, and then you open up that from there, and then it shows you where you can put in images and you can talk about, make a complaint. But what I first did is I talked to a rep, and then they gave me an actual number of my trade dispute. So I added that into the area 2 because it was under, I had a lot of time talking with him. First I made a video explaining it, and then it wouldn't take a video. So you had to do, and that's something they've changed recently. But anyway, that's fine. Still shots are fine. So being able to have this evidence was, I believe, will be extremely helpful. So here it is. Here's my original position, right? And I'm in a trade for 200 shares and just attempted to double my position to 400 shares with the intent to buy out for a profit on a dip very quickly. That's how I trade, right? So that's what on the first image shows, and it shows my price point where I'm in, right? So now let's look at the second image. I placed a market order which was not executed for some reason. I then canceled that order. So there's the market order, and I'm about to press that X. See my cursor? And cancel it. So there's my price point, 164.25, 200 shares. Cancel that order, right? When you're following along, you saw I wanted to actually buy it first, but whatever. That's what happened. I could have had a profit already, if I wasn't messing up. Okay, so now, as you can see, the order was canceled 2 seconds later, as shown on the clock. So if you go back to that. You look at it, 9:31:44, okay? So then I go, and it's 9:31:46. Just 2 seconds later, that is canceled. I X'd out that order. It's gone. It should not exist, right? We all know how that works. As you can see, it's canceled, and there's the clock. In case there's any problem, this is your platform giving the evidence, right? So then we move on, right? 1 minute later, no market order to double my share size to 400 shares was ever initiated. So, and there was nothing showing me that it was waiting. There was nothing showing me that it was waiting, right? So now you can see I'm a minute further in to this situation. So still 200 shares, still price point, same price point, right? Image 5. Boom, this comes up. And again, I went over, like, what would you think when a message like this comes up and you need to get it out of your face as quickly as possible. It's just like, hey, they're telling me that the order didn't go through. Yeah, I saw that. It didn't go through. I saw that, right? Get it out of my face. Click it off. It didn't go through. 7 seconds. This message, after that, this message interrupted the live trading situation. It appeared my only option to get this message off the screen quickly was to say, okay. I think X would have done the exact same thing, I'm pretty sure, but I just pressed, okay, yeah, I get it. I did the order didn't go through. To me, this meant I'm aware of the failed message sent to order a trade that I then canceled, so no trade in parentheses was or should have been initiated. So I thought, right? Then, boom, the second I hit it, it shorted me way back at the position that I took it, which is terrible. I mean, if you're going to short, you're going to move your price, your actual price point where you have it way the heck up here, right? And I was probably thinking about it right then, except that it was so strong moving up that I was in a hover zone. Target 6 cents going down, 35 cents going up. That is not a good time to average in anyway. I wouldn't have done it even if it was up here, but I certainly wouldn't say, hey, you want to take a price way down here? No, I wouldn't have done it. So big malfunction. You can't do that to a trader. I don't know if you saw, but I think I showed it before. $343 on that clip. Before it happened, $162. Almost exactly double, right? No, more than double. I'm sorry. Not triple, but definitely way in a worse position now. Would you feel trapped right here? Boy, I would definitely feel more trapped right now going, I think I'm going to be swinging this if this doesn't turn around. I don't want to add anything yet. I don't like this price action. I'm going to ride it out. And I'm embarrassed. Everybody's watching. It's like, man, how many more mistakes do I have to make? What did I do here? I totally thought that I had made a mistake here. I did not realize that it was messing me up, right? So then I conclude with my message here. So request the nullify trade due to platform malfunction on short position. And then I explain my exact position, and I put this in for dramatic effect. But yeah, guys, come on, right? That's just bogus. So they say, he told me that get it in that day, Friday, right away. But that, so I interrupted myself here, but when you log into your Charles Schwab off to the right, there'll be the message center. You click on that, and you can have places where you can upload documents or whatever. Obviously, I would talk to somebody first and get an actual case number for a trade dispute if that's what you're doing. I feel like they're going to do the right thing if you can prove it. I don't want to say anything bad about them, not because I'm worried what they'll do, just because I really feel like I don't want to say anything bad about them until I see what they're going to do. And then I will really see if they don't reverse that, It doesn't really matter how I might have traded it after that happened. When that happened, they're at fault, right? And the fact that the platform shut down. Now, they may say to me, oh, you waited too long to get out. You kept doing the trade. And that there could be an argument there. Or they may say, well, we'll give you that position and assume you would have gotten out immediately when you doubled down and shorted it. And that would be acceptable to me. I would understand, although I think I could have waited for a dip. But how do they know how I'm going to trade? Really, the fair thing to do is like, wow, we messed up. We don't know how you're going to trade. We're just going to negate that trade, whether you made a profit or you lost, whatever the case is. We're just going to negate that trade and take it away. So I'm not sure I pointed out, but I think it was $1,024 on one of those things that showed what I lost. That's just, anyway, just to give you a little bit more information about what to do if you had problems. There's a lot of people, they're not in the studio right now, but have basically said that's what they did, that they filed this. Yeah, I came back to this page just to point out, they told me to get out of the trade. So they told me what to do. So that's another reason why I feel like they have to stick to, because maybe if I had stayed in, I could have averaged in and actually made money and not lost money. And that's what I would have done, as I showed you on the chart, So, and you guys know that's just how I trade. But they said, no, get out. And then we can, basically the guy said, well, make sure it's taken care of. So if they go back on that, I have all the more reason to be upset because he advised me to get out of the trade. They gave me the advice to do that, which I have recorded. So that information, so on a recorded line that I have. So, yeah, who knows, if I wanted to go legal, if they didn't, but I'm not going to go legal for $1,000, let's face it. So it would just, it would be a lesson learned for them. I was really, really happy to find out that it was not my fault, that went bad that quickly. And I was happy to see that I could have got out of the trade for a profit as well, just like it happened with Hood. It's just a different way to trade, guys. I mean, it's not what I'm trying to show you. I'm trying to show you fast move scalping, as you know, but every bit of information you can get, everything is helpful, right? Any part of trading in a different way people trade, and it's just it's helpful, right? So again, just to point out where we are, assuming that's just gone, I don't know how you guys did. I hope that if it happened to you, you can file a dispute and get back to where you probably were. Hood ended up being more money because I made it a swing trade, and I probably could have made this $1,000 had I just stuck in it, but I just got out. Actually had to go, and I just like, okay, take the trade. I just got out. Went green. Take it. So that's what I did. But swing trades you would normally stay in a little longer. So I still had that scalping mentality, and I was still still very upset and apprehensive because of what happened with NVIDIA. But anyway, guys, listen, thanks for watching the recap. What a little bit of a nightmare. And hope you caught what I was saying about how you can make money shorting even as the stock's going up. It's just quick moves, baby steps, and that's a lot of my strategy on a large cap, is to do that even when it's going up. And it does seem counterintuitive because you could just ride it all the way up. Yes, you could. I don't know it's going to go all the way up. What I do know, it's going to constantly trace whether it's going up or down. So like I said, I've learned over time to take advantage of those moves, and that's kind of what scalping's all about, right? All right, guys. Hope this was helpful. I will see you Monday morning. Get ready. We're going to have a good week. I can just feel it. All right, guys. Go green out there.